Hi friends, I'm Father Wilfred Fernandez, Director for Prison Ministry India, Diocese of Pune. Presently I'm also the coordinator for Maharashtra State, and then recently have been appointed as a Central Regional Coordinator. In Maharashtra I'm coordinating 11 dioceses, including the Syrio-Malankara and the Syrio-Malabar rites. And then at the central level, central region, I am coordinating with 10 states. Working in this ministry has been a wonderful experience for me. It began when I was a seminarian at Nagpur. And there at St. Charles, we had this opportunity to do our ministry. And so we would visit the prisons as well. And so there we were known as the Bhajan Mandali. When we would go to visit the under trials, we would have a small bhajan with them, and then we would have a little input session, a talk, and then interaction with them. Through this little interaction, we came to realize that many of our brethren behind bars had come to a realization and made a decision to change their lives. And so they would tell us, brother, after we come out from prison, we will meet you. After interacting with you all, we have now decided to change our lives. And they would speak in a similar language every time we met them, which gave us an inspiration that we have brought them hope. And there is something beautiful in this ministry compared to the normal ministries that we would do in parishes or in the slums. After ordination, I worked in many parishes, and then after I finished with Chinchwad and I was transferred to Mother Teresa's Hadapsar, it was then in 2006 that Bishop Valerian D'Souza asked me to take up prison ministry in Pune Diocese. Having a little background, I immediately said yes. But I had no idea what had been done in the past over here. So I tried to speak to the priest who was previously, and he said that he had no much idea and he had nothing to hand over. So beginning was a little difficult here in Pune because there was no file, nothing to begin with except an appointment letter, which was the biggest thing. After that, I was invited to a conference in Nagpur. When I attended that, I was surprised to see the amount of work, the volume of work done by our volunteers all over India. And I would feel ashamed as to why we have not done anything in Pune. But all the same, I did not give up. And very soon we had another conference which I was invited to, and I went for that conference as well. And each time I went for these conferences, for these meetings, I would feel, when would we get our first permission and when could we start? Sister Grace had visited our diocese. Along with Sister Grace, we met the IG of prisons. But everything seemed to be very good at that level. But when it came to permissions from the superintendent, nothing would come through. And so it was a little disappointing. From 2006 to 2013, I have regularly written letters, have correspondence with the IGs, with the superintendents, but somehow nothing fell in place. One day, Brother William phoned me from the seminary, and he spoke of being inspired to connect with me for this ministry. I invited him over to Lonavala, and I told him that at the moment I am doing parish work, but as far as this ministry is concerned, I have not got any permission. So you come over and we would discuss it. We had a long discussion. And then I told him that we should begin with prayer. And within a few months, I was transferred to Pune, and I took over as rector of the cathedral. And there, once again, Brother William came over, and we began every Saturday with our prayers, with the intercessory. And very soon we got our permissions for the first camp. The first medical camp was a big success because we left no stone unturned in detailed planning. We got nurses, we got doctors, we got the medicines. And I remember the first camp, how enthusiastically all the volunteers worked. It was so systematic. Details were taken care of. And after the examination was over of the patients at the open jail, we came back, we got the medicines organized, and within 2 days we went and handed it over to the authorities. And they were really touched by our coordination. This is how we worked for the first medical camp. On one of the occasions, Anthony Jacob had come and met me. And when we were talking and discussing, I realized that he had a good connect with many officials, many police personnel. And so I requested him to join our ministry. And so with his help, we moved forward, and we could then connect with the prison officials very well. In fact, he was very instrumental even in the first medical camp, and right through, we did not have any difficulties with any permissions for our ministry. With Anthony Jacob and with Brother William, both in the spiritual dimension and in the approach to the officials, we could get permissions very easily. And then my next challenges began to evolve. That was finances. And so I called a team together, and that's where Vinita and the entire team came very strong. And they came up with this idea of having a canteen. And so we put up our first canteen, and we asked Bishop Dabre, Thomas Dabre, to bless the first canteen. And so with his blessings, we began to generate revenue through that canteen for our ministry. Then we had a big banner, a big poster put up in the cathedral campus. The idea was precisely not only to create awareness about our ministry, but also to make sure that we had a visible sign of our presence in the church and in the church campus. So anyone who would come to the compound, whether it be school children, college children, or Sunday, the parishioners, they knew that there was a ministry here which they could sort of contribute towards, either by being part of it or through finances. And so very soon we began to get a number of volunteers. Then I realized that we need to sort of teach them certain skills about what is prison ministry, what are our aims, what are our objectives, what is our lifestyle, how do we function. And so we began to have training sessions on a regular basis with them. And with these training sessions, our first core team developed. And so then we had an office set up, where we had a secretary, a joint secretary, a treasurer, a joint treasurer. Then we had people who took up responsibilities for cultural programs. Then we had a team who took up these medical camps. We had a team who took up finances, to generate finances. We had a team who took up writing articles in the diocesan life, getting newspaper coverages, and all these things on social media. So teams began to develop. And it was most beautiful to see how this little ministry, beginning with prayer, how it evolved to be what it is today. Very soon, we were joined by institutions. Like the Cecilia School of Music collaborated so beautifully with us. With them came in the children, their parents, and the entire school set up for music. Then we connected with the sports academy, the Diagos, and with them came in a lot of another commitment. Young people, full of life, full of enthusiasm, who wanted to give back to society something that they themselves have received. And so we had this beautiful opportunity of collaborating with schools. And various people from schools collaborated. Sister Tara was one of them, who worked shoulder to shoulder with us. This whole school was involved in all that we did in our ministry. The teachers, the entire staff, and the students. Collaboration became a wonderful opportunity. And then we were connected with the seminaries. We had seminarians who wanted to do this ministry. And so they were visiting the seminary on a regular basis. This ministry, brothers and sisters, grew because of God's grace, because of the commitment from the volunteers, because the prisoners connected well with us, because the authorities found that we were genuine. And so this is how our ministry grew. Working with Maharashtra was also a beautiful experience. I got an opportunity to drive down to each and every diocese, and thus meeting with the bishops, meeting with each diocesan coordinator, meeting with the volunteers, finding out their difficulties, bringing it to the awareness of then Father Sebastian and Sister Diana, who was the coordinator there, was very beautiful. And it was because of Father Sebastian and Sister Diana that I got more involved in this ministry. Their collaboration, their trust, and their wholehearted support towards me helped me in this ministry. And then my great friend, Bishop Peter Remigius, who was very close to me right through, he would always say, "You have the fire and the spirit." And then Father Francis and Father Varghese Keriperi. Keriperi was a very good friend of mine. And he would say, "You have the spirit of PMI." And I would feel thrilled to hear that. And that is how we move forward. My first experience with Father Francis was when he came to join us for the first marathon that we ventured here. He traveled all by himself without taking any traveling allowance. That touched me to my core. And then began our close association with Father Francis. Father Francis, I realized, was not only the co-founder, but he had his whole heart and soul for this ministry. And when he was elected as the next director or as the next national coordinator, I was most thrilled because we shared a very close bond with each other. And so working with him is wonderful. And then of course Sister Linny, her collaboration, her quick actions brought in a lot of life. After my tenure with the cathedral, then I was put in as full-time for this ministry. Here was a big challenge now before me. Being in a parish, you always have that setup, you always have that support system, you have the parishioners supporting you. But now, in this new field, I was totally lost. The first few months went in just contemplating what to do. Where will my office be? How will the office be? How will it function? What are we going to do? And very soon, with prayer, sitting in the chapel, I realized that I need to have a separate dedicated team besides the regular core team that I had. Because I had responsibilities as a Central Region Coordinator and as Maharashtra State Coordinator, and also to make sure that it was happening in Pune Diocese. And so this challenge was a big task placed on me. And more than anything else, it was God's grace which helped me set it up in a most beautiful way. I began with inviting a few people whom I had worked with. And so I realized that I need now in my office setup, I would need somebody who would read letters, understand it, and then respond to those letters, both emails as well as hard copies. Then we had permission letters to write to authorities. All these things put together, I realized that now I had to have a proper setup, because I was dealing with a ministry which was not based only on volunteers, but which also had to do with research. And so I had to collect data. I had to make sure that we were moving in a direction that would make this ministry grow, that would connect with companies, that would connect with officials, that would connect with directors, and of course that would connect with common people as well. And so therefore, keeping that in mind, I began with prayer to search for people who were qualified in various fields. And so we began searching, and to our good God's grace, today we have a proper setup of our office and also of PMI volunteers. I sincerely thank all those who are working both at the office level and at the core team of PMI. Their collaboration with each other, their cooperation with each other has brought in a huge difference, has brought in a lot of change in the way we are functioning. In fact, it has made my life different as well. I would not have been the same person that I am today. It is only because of the help, collaboration, faith, and confidence that they have placed in me that I have been able to move forward in this ministry. Friends, this ministry is for prisoners, for victims, families, and above all to make sure that they are reintegrated into society. A prisoner who is convicted for a crime, he will complete his term, maybe 10 years, 15 years, or whatever in the jail. But in the jail, if he is not reformed, he comes back. He returns to society. If not reformed, back as the same criminal. His activities continue to be the same. It is a big loss for society. It is a big loss of your and my income, a tax that we have paid. Because those 10 years, it was your tax and my tax that has sustained him there. And now he has come back without being reformed. And so therefore this ministry is a ministry for reformation, for reintegrating them back into society, back into the family, so that they can be productive once again. And so we need, brothers and sisters, to have a system, a structure that will reintegrate them back into society. Prisons do not do that. Prisons only help them to complete their sentence, their term in jail. And so I appeal to you, friends, to join us in this ministry. There is a way forward. There are leaps and bounds in this ministry which we have not plowed yet. And here is where all of us can take this forward. You can make a difference by seeing, by contemplating, by understanding what God has blessed you with. And just as I have contributed to this ministry, I am very sure you can also contribute to this ministry. We are not only a national organization, but we are an organization which are dwelling in the hearts of a prisoner. So more than the external setup, we have to make our dwelling in the life and the heart of a prisoner. And that is where our ministry is. I am so happy that in Bangalore we have one of the jails where one of the convents, the sisters are living inside. And that is how I look at this ministry. Not to live in a jail, not to live in a cell, but to live in the heart of a prisoner. There we can encounter God, and there God can encounter us. Thank you for all that you have done for this ministry, and welcome for those of you who want to join this ministry. God bless.